What do you think about the idea that Britain shouldn't have a monarchy anymore, that we should have a kind of democratically elected head of state?
No chance. You gotta have a monarchy. Right. I don't care what people.
Yeah, no justification. Just you've got to have it. Like this is you are seeing a man with brain poison on your screen right now. He has no justification other than it's always been there, for it always must be. I'm sorry, this is just cult behavior, right? You've waited 14 hours to look at a box, and now you're absolutely destroyed. Oh my God, why did I not just go down to London with just a bunch of like Queen Elizabeth 1922 to 1926 to 2022 t-shirts and hoodies? I could have made a killing. What have I been doing with my life? Why was I not like flogging royal merchandise to idiots? You know, we live in the world of Netflix now. If monarchists want to contribute to the royal fund, just make it into like a subscription-based service. They can get all their little they can get their little channels pumping all of their different royal stuff, and they can keep it over there. If they want to subscribe to it, by all means, they can go and subscribe to it if they really want to. So we are the Netflix generation. Like, turning the royals into rentier capitalism sounds like the perfect way to abolish them. Speaking of people mourning in the queue, I think Novara actually, was it? Yeah, they did an interview section interviewing people who were in the queue, right? So now we can get an insight of the mind of somebody who's literally part of a cult, because of the people who are willing to endure said suffering to get a view at a box of somebody they've never met before. So we're interesting to see their reactions. So let's watch and have an insight.
It's really surreal, very emotional, yeah, very overwhelming, but absolutely beautiful. It's like stepping into a beautiful painting.
If it is anything, it's definitely surreal.
All through the night, thousands of people have been queuing for hours to file past the coffin and pay their respects.
Fantastic lady, best queen ever, queen of the world, right?
Yeah.
She was like a grandmother to the nation and everything, hence...
No, she wasn't! Your grandmother feeds you Werther's originals and plays chess with you, right? The Queen did nothing. She did nothing. Either she did something, in which case she shouldn't have the power that she has, and we shouldn't, that's more than what the ceremonial monarch should be doing. Or, of course, she did what actually happened, which she did fucking nothing. She did nothing.
We're all here today.
So it looks like you may have served in the armed forces from your
No,
medals.
I haven't actually. This is my father's medals.
Okay.
From the Royal Air Force Second World War.
So you're gonna live vicariously through that.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, did he have a particular love of the Queen?
Oh yes, yeah.
And have you inherited that from him?
Well, I'm representing him in a way because he's not here, so it was just thought it'd be a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Okay, I rescind that previous.
And I mean, are you particularly a monarchist, or do you have particularly strong feelings about the Queen's passing and the accession of?
I don't know if I'd
Charles?
use the word monarchist. I just think she was a great person and did a great service. So
Yeah.
I'm here like a lot of people, just pay my respects.
You're wearing a kilt. Have you?
You don't need to wait in a queue for it. Just watch the funeral on TV like a normal human being. If you really want to pay your respects, you do not need to queue for 13 fucking hours to pay your respects to a box with a cloth on it. Like, you can pay your respects anywhere. And again, you don't have to. I don't understand these people.
You come from Scotland?
I haven't come from Scotland, but I am Scottish. I'm wearing the kilt really from my grandfather. He was a Monroe, so it's a Monroe tartan. He was in the First World War. He was the first person that would stand up any time when I was a kid, when it was the national anthem for the Queen.
If you didn't stand up, he'd tap you on the head and do that, and you'd all stand up. Okay. But I think everybody's here for their parents and their grandparents and that generation that have done.
Why? Why do you want? I'm sure they would tell you, just as I am telling you now, that you do not need to, in their name, stand in a queue for 13 hours to see a box.
So much. I mean, look at all these people. This is our little group. We've got a WhatsApp group, the Queen's Queue.
When you can see Harry in a t-shirt in Afghanistan. That's the only time I've ever seen them wearing a t-shirt.
It's crazy to me. In America, we have like queues for like Black Friday and stuff like that. People do like, I don't know, 6 hours like for that. But it's crazy to see the amount of people lining up for stuff like that. It's so crazy to me.
It's almost like both of these things are incredibly silly. And queuing up for... Actually, to be fair, I can understand somebody queuing up for a cheap TV. Because at least you get something at the end of it. And you probably didn't queue for 13 hours.
Even a cheap telly at the end of it.
Exactly.
Let me take my hat off. Yes, been here since 6:20 this morning.
Gosh.
It has been a long time. It was cold early on.
And it looks like from your medals you may have had quite some allegiance to the Queen.
Well, yeah, things I could get that, right? Sarah Vane, I would 100% get that if there was some level of sentimentality, if they booked out, I don't know, some massive park or whatever, and then people could pay their respects in some kind of group situation, whatever. Like these people can they can go all out if they want to. They can tire themselves. Couldn't give a shit, right? But this kind of performative suffering, as we're talking about before, and all of the resources that we need elsewhere, rather than to do with the monarchy, it just drives me around the fucking bend.
Yes, she was my boss. I served in the RAF for 22 years.
How did you feel about the Queen during her life? Did you feel particularly close to her? Like, some people felt like they knew her.
Well, I'm 66, so all I've ever known is the Queen. I was broken-hearted. She might be 96, but...
Yeah, I'm fucking 31. Like, all I'd ever known was opal fruits. But when they changed the name to Starburst, I felt like a little bit of me had died. That's how this literally, you have as much connection to Queen Elizabeth II as you do to the name opal fruits, mate.
It still comes as a shock. And I'll be crying my eyes out when I get to the coffin.
How do you feel about Charles as the king?
I've come from Cardiff. And where is he? Cardiff.
We have to pay for your parade. Thank you for coming. Taxpayer pays 100 million for you, not more. Need one penny.
Do you feel like a bit of a mug? You should be in Cardiff.
Not my king in Welsh, love it.
Seeing the new king.
Bit of both.
What do you make of the fact that people are queuing for like 14 hours to see the Queen?
Personally, I think it's crazy.
What do you think about the expense that's going to happen when...
Good. I'm glad this person's got his head screwed on. I mean, and it's also incredible. Also, you talk about the age of the people who were there in the queue, one equation. We also just talk about the caucasity of these people as well. Like, this guy's like, as soon as you find someone who's not white, it's like, yeah, this is crazy. Well, I guess that could theoretically be an editorial choice, so probably not worth looking into that much, but just funny.
Coronation, which will be, I think, early next year at a time of a kind of cost of living crisis. It's going to be like millions of pounds you're going to pay, I'm going to pay. How do you feel about it?
Well, as taxpayers, like having to kind of cover the cost of something that really a lot of us don't think should be a thing anyway. I feel like society's moved past traditions in a lot of ways, and we
live in the world of Netflix now. If monarchists want to contribute to the royal fund, just make it into like a subscription-based service. They can get all their little, they can get their little channels pumping all of their different royal stuff, and they can keep it over there. If they want to subscribe to it, by all means, they can go and subscribe to it if they really want to. So we live in we are the Netflix generation. Like, turning the royals into rentier capitalism sounds like the perfect way to abolish them.
Hang on to weird ones that I don't think should necessarily still be there. So,
what do you think about the Queen as the former head of empire and head of the Commonwealth now Charles? These kind of former colonies that still kind of have the Queen as their head of state because of a legacy of racial domination.
See, I think when you're asking someone who is part of one of those ethnic minorities, and I think that at the same time,
I mean, that seems a little bit. To specifically ask that question to the black guy, I'm like, come on, Rivka, come on.
That she may have done a lot of good things. You can't escape that past, and in many ways Britain's done a lot of good things to correct a lot of stuff that's happened in the past, but to show this level of support for something that represents that, as well as countless good things that I'm sure people who support it would throw at me, I think it's too big of a smudge to just ignore.
It just boggles my mind that anyone feels connection to this person. How? Why?
I mean, how did you feel when you got the news last Thursday?
My wife actually cried her eyes out for about half a day. I actually did have quite a few tears in my eyes and everything. I think it's really sad. I think we've lost something in the UK. To be honest, I think the Commonwealth and the world has actually lost something what's really important.
I felt as though my anchor...
It's not why is it important though? Why? Again, obviously I understand that. What we discussed earlier about the connection to, the empire and quote unquote Great Britain, I guess, but even so, just do not get it.
Come away, and I felt a bit adrift and a bit sort of as though we've lost our figurehead, really. And we're all compass, and we're all slightly not quite
compass. What did she point you towards? Racial discrimination and paying off nonces? Is that the direction that the Queen's compass pointed for you?
Sure, which way we're going now.
Hello.
Kind of weird day today, huh?
Yeah. It's mental, yeah.
What do you make of the fact that some people are queuing for 14 hours?
Well, yeah, well, so was Prince. Like, Prince had loads of drip. Like, and at least Prince gave us good music.
To see the Queen's coffin.
I personally wouldn't do that. I think that's a bit...
Judging by the length of this queue, how hopeful are you that we're ever going to be able to unseat our monarchy and to have a kind of elected head of state?
Not for...
Oh my god, why did I not just go down to London with just a bunch of, like, Queen Elizabeth 1922 to 1926 to 2022 t-shirts and hoodies? I could have made a fucking killing! What have I been doing with my life? Why was I not, like, flogging royal merchandise to idiots? Why that's been a missed opportunity to sell royalists like royal themed tat in the queue. Why have these ideas always come too late.
For a very long time, I reckon.
Yeah, think of the stonks.
You know, unless what's his face, George, the little one, decides to do something about it. I reckon.
Yeah, Prince is the only royal I will ever recognise.
I've monarchy for a very long time.
He was indeed the king.
Yeah. I mean, you might have heard that some people have been arrested actually for trying to protest some of the goings on. What do you make of all that?
I think it's crazy that Prince Andrew's not in prison.
The man circled here is heckling Prince Andrew during the procession of the Queen's coffin through Edinburgh. On the pavement behind the crowd, police try to calm the situation as tempers among the public are raised.
Disgusting! Wait, I've done nothing wrong.
But I mean, Andrew's actually reportedly is going to play a bigger role in the monarchy now. Charles has invited his brother to...
We literally might have the nonce being the acting monarch at some point, which would be fucking hilarious.
Rejoin where the Queen had obviously pushed him away. Do you feel like that's appropriate, given, he was obviously accused of sexually assaulting a child?
He was. Yeah. Personally, I think if he tries to bring Prince Andrew back in...
That's not a question, Rivka. They just said that seems like pointless to include. You just really wanted to get out the Prince Andrew nonce stuff, which, to be fair, is good.
He's blotted his copybook, and the public don't forget that easily.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I think that's a good
Yeah,
euphemism.
that's all it was. That's all it was, a blot on a copybook. It wasn't indeed a fucking paedophile.
For it. I think he is going to, because there have been reports of that, and, the Queen's even bequeathed him some of her corgis, I hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I thought that was just to keep him busy.
Quite, yeah, exactly. The devil makes work for idle hands, as they say. Do you have particular feelings about Prince Andrew's kind of inclusion or exclusion from the royal family?
I think the Queen made a decision, and the royal family should stand by it.
Yeah, I don't think actually Prince Andrew should come back. I think he made serious errors over the last few years, more than a few years, 10 years, 12 years, and I think he should be not become again a working royal, and he should take a background seat.
Wait, at least this person's she's got her head screwed on.
Excuse me, sir. Have you arrested any Republicans today?
Yes, sir. Did you not know Prince Andrew? He took $12 million of taxpayers' money to pay off someone called Virginia Giuffre, who was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein to him at age 17.
I'm not going to make a comment on that at all.
Monarchist or Republican, most will consider this a time to reflect on an incredible life of service. But
No! I'm a Republican, I'm not reflecting. Do not care in the slightest. I do not care at all. I only care in so much as I get to make content out of it.
The Queen's passing to signal the end of the institution itself and make themselves heard.
What do you think about the idea that Britain shouldn't have a monarchy anymore, that we should have a kind of democratically elected head of state?
No chance. You've got to have a monarchy.
Right.
I don't care what people...
Yeah, no justification. Just, you've got to have it. Like, this is... You are seeing a man with brain poison on your screen right now. He has no justification other than it's always been there, for it always must be.
Say.
What do you think so necessary about it?
Well, it's history. It's our history.
You talked about the kind of world has lost something.
Zero justification.
Some people, obviously, would argue that maybe it's gained something in the opportunity to have kind of a democratically elected head of state, for example. But how do you feel about that?
No. I'm happy with the way it is.
Yes. What about people who think that we should...
Oh, man, the fucking cue ball Olympics out here. The people in this queue are extremely bold. It's very fun.
Didn't have a monarchy at all. There are them.
There are boats that leave this country every day. They can get on them and go if they want. It's taken hundreds of years to build all this.
Yeah.
And how much did the monarchy build? Built nothing. They've done nothing. All of this stuff that you see around you, people built that. Labour built that. The working class built that shit. What have the monarchy done? Nothing. Nothing at all, other than reap the rewards of other people's hard work.
This away. You think about the men that built that and what they built it for. I was only looking at comparison pictures the other day of
He even understands, he even recognises that it was other men that built that and not the royals. I say, but what did they build it for? You don't understand the labour that actually went into creating these things. You just understand the fucking pointless figurehead, ceremonial figurehead at the top. You have no connection to, you swear undying fealty to. This man is mentally fucking deranged. Like, Royal Squid Game, that I would watch, Sarah Vane.
King George VI funeral, and the streets were just full of people. Do you know what I mean? And then come back out again. No, we're not done with our monarchy yet.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but to be fair, it was mostly the government that did that at the time machine. But they were definitely, the idea of spreading the monarchy was probably definitely a contributing factor, right?
I'm not an enormous royalist, but they are a family that represents us, and also we ask a lot of them.
No, they don't represent me at all. Like, literally, what do I have in common with a monarch? I convert protein intake into muscle energy. That's it, right?
Do you think that Britain can really be called a democracy when we have an unelected head of state, when people, become fabulously wealthy as a result of being born into it?
No, you see, I'm an environmentalist campaigner, and you can have power or you can have influence. You can't really have both. And I think that the royal family have influence but no power. They can't actually make us do.
But they do still have power, but they also do have influence at the same time.
Anything we don't want to do, and we sort of own them. So there's a bargain between us and the royal family in that they.
It's not a bargain. When did we bargain? I don't remember being told whether I want to be part of this bargain at all.
They act in a way that we want them to. It's an accident of birth, and I feel sorry for them because they are kept in a golden cage, and they do what we want. They have to behave better than us.
They don't do what we want. No, the only reason why they have to behave better than us is because of all the people who expect them to do certain things because of the institution of the monarchy in the first place, right?
And we get the hell if they don't. And it's just.
Well, they could just fucking leave. They could just leave. There's a thing they can do. If they don't want to do it, they can just stop.
The way it's been, and it keeps us stable. It's not written down. It's not analysed. It's not logical. It's just the way Britain is.
It's true. It's not logical. I mean. If that's not a self-report, I don't know what is.
Some people would say this is exactly what England is about, or what Britain's about, the monarchy and blah, blah, blah.
But some people say the opposite, that the monarchy,
I mean, maybe if what we're learning from all of this is, this is what Britain is about. This country is garbage, it's full of idiots, and if I had enough money to leave, and if I could speak a different language, I would fuck off to literally anywhere else. Fuck this country.
Symbolises all the bad things that Britain's
100%,
about, racism and imperialism.
Oh, 100%, I didn't want to talk shit.
How do you feel about the Queen dying?
Obviously, it's sad, isn't it? Anyone dying sad. I'm not sure a 4-hour queue.
14.
I mean, that's a good point there. Like, it's sad, but anyone dying would also be sad. Then why is she any different?
Hour queue. Do you actually get to see her?
No, the coffin's closed. I thought that as well. Actually, it turns out it's
so you could just be waiting 14 hours for a box. Whatever people want to do with their day, it's up to them, innit? It's a monumental moment, innit? Like,
how about King Charles III?
Yeah, see, this is where it gets all techie. Like, what's going to happen? Like, I don't know. He's old as well, so like, in my lifetime, I'm gonna have like 3 monarchies, innit? So, as for the Queen, God rest her soul, and you won't see me lining up.
Keep smiling in every day.
True, me and Stalin both took showers. We both believed in democratic centralism. We are the same.
Every day. Respond to the smile. That's all we want to see. Keep it. Come on down. I'm a happy person. I like people to be happy around me. What they've gone through to be here, it's not easy. So the worst thing you want to...
How about we question the nonsensical nature of what led them to be there?
Just come in and barking, show me your wristband, get over there. You don't hear that. You just want a bit of inspiration. You still got an hour and a half to go down there.
How do you feel about the fact some people have queued 14 hours?
What can I do? It's not my organisation, is it? I can't do nothing.
No, I don't mean the organisation. I mean the passion that people have for the Queen.
Because a lot of people don't realise what people think about as a person, not a head of state.
What do you think about the Queen as a person?
She was very nice. She was lovely. I haven't met her personally.
Yeah, so is Edith down the road, right? So is our Jean. Like, where's the state funeral for our Jean?
Yeah. I've never had dinner with her, but I thought she was a good woman. She looked after her family.
Yeah.
She helped run Britain.
She definitely looked after Prince Andrew, that's for sure.
What more do I want?
Right, but maybe different to how you feel about her as a head of state.
Head of state, she's a lady. She was a woman of household. She ran things.
Yeah, she did run a lot of things.
That's true. Like, if I was a member of the party who dealt with the Romanovs, I definitely would have stolen the drip and then just like worn it out. Like, oh, look at me, I'm the king now. King of the castle, king of the castle.
She's the head of my country, Jamaica. She's head of most countries.
Yeah.
What can I say?
How do you feel about the fact that she was the head of state of, 15 countries when she died?
What can I say? You divide and conquer. They conquered. It got divide.
Very true. But again, specifically asking the racially loaded questions to the black people, probably not the greatest move there, Rivka.
It's just really powerful in there, and it makes you feel so patriotic. Honestly, she's just incredible.
How are you feeling at this very intense moment? You've just been in
Very emotional. It was an emotional experience, and we saw the changing of the guard as well.
Would have been worth queuing for 13 hours just to start singing the Soviet national anthem in the coffin room for lulsies.
So it was all very ceremonial, and the Queen laying there with a lovely set, all the jewellery on.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do it. Future people want to complain in the comments. That was a thing called a joke.
Top and the sceptre, is it called now? And yes, it was just an experience that will live with me forever.
Wow.
Yeah, worth every.
I mean, we don't know the full cost yet, because there's the cost of actually running the funeral, but then you've also got to add on top of that the cost to the economy of shutting down the country, right? For however many days.
Every second of waiting.
Really.
Absolutely.
We waited 14 hours.
And it was worth every second.
Queued for 14 hours.
You seem like you're also very...
And this is cult. This is just cult behaviour, right? You've waited 14 hours to look at a box, and now you're absolutely fucking distraught over it. It's nobody. It's the fucking Queen.
Moves her.
Yeah. Excuse me, my dad's medals.
Are those your dad's? Okay, so you feel very strong connection to the Queen through him.
Yeah, because he was a naval officer and met the Queen, and so was my brother, and
What? You just met the Queen. They didn't do anything. It didn't affect him. They just met the Queen one time. Now you're not even you met the Queen. Your brother met the Queen one time, right? I'm sure in his naval duties there must have been some positive utility that he engaged in, right? But none of that has anything to do with the Queen.
There's a huge connection with my family.
Yeah.
It only just hit me now, but it was just incredible. Really brilliant.
Yeah.
I was born just after her coronation, and that's all I know, Queen. And she's been a constant,
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing as like, well, I know fucking hula hoops have been a constant in my life. Will I start crying when there's no more hula hoops? Probably not.
Always there.
It hit me like a train.
Wow. Do you feel like much of a...
Oh my god! Look, this man is literally a parody of himself. What am I looking at? What is this? What's going on here? With the bowler hat and the Salvador Dali moustache.
Personal kind of connection to the Queen.
I don't mean to take the piss out of people for the way they look, right? But this is just like the most absurd stereotype of everything. It's LARPing. It's just LARPing as someone from the fucking early 1900s, back when the Empire was still a thing.
I don't know if it's personal, but she's part of our living constitution, and she served us in a really remarkable way, so it was my chance to pay my final respects and say thank you.
How do you feel about the idea that some people have expressed that we should replace our constitutional monarchy with an elected head of state?
Well, unfortunately, they're in a vanishingly small minority, so it's not something I bother myself with.
Some of those people have been arrested, I hear, for holding placards and so on, saying things like abolish the monarchy. Is that right?
No, absolutely not. It's right that we all have the...
I mean, to be fair, for most people, actually, one of the good things we have seen is lots of people who do genuinely believe that, even if they do support the monarchy, that all these people getting arrested is bad. Like, even was it Peter Hitchens was on Joe Politics saying the same thing, saying explicitly that we absolutely should be able to criticise the monarchy.
The right to express ourselves, even if we do it tastelessly.
David, can we get a few words for Sky News, please? David, Sky News, just an emotional moment. How was that?
Sorry? We were there, we were there for a reason, and everyone was together, and it was a special few hours. And the legacy that she has left is incredible.
We're not going to see the like of her again, are we?
I don't think so.
I'm sure we'll definitely see another unelected head of state very, very soon. Almost like that has already happened. Like, whatever. Like, Charles may be a bit more rebellious than she was, but like, how different are they?
No, I think that someone to have led the country the way she led our country, that's why we all queued up today, because I think
led us by doing nothing.
It's the right thing to do, and it's us paying respect to our Queen. It's a difficult moment right now.
Ben didn't like Beckham as you bow for the Queen, very true.
So.
Excuse me, sir. This is a bit cannibalistic, but how do you feel? You just interviewed David Beckham.
Just let me stand up 1 second. How do I feel?
Yeah.
It's obviously a personal matter of him to go there. He wasn't there as a celebrity. He was there as a subject of the Queen. He was mourning like everybody else. He'd queued up by
subject. I'm not a fucking subject. I'm a fucking citizen.
Accounts for hours.
Wow.
Respectfully, he hadn't jumped the queue like an MP.
Do you think some people were more excited to see David Beckham than the Queen?
Yeah, jumping the queue. That's really bad. It's almost like giving people elevated positions because of circumstances outside of their control, rather than treating people equally, is a bad thing.
I wouldn't think that. No. I mean, David Beckham's great, but he's not ruled the country as a monarch for 70 years, so no.
Was it almost as exciting to see David Beckham as it was to see the Queen?
In different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would much rather meet David Beckham.
They're both heroes of mine in different respects.
Do you see that David Beckham was here? There was a big group of
Seen
people.
on the news and he queued, didn't he, for 12 hours?
Yeah, he did, yeah. What do you think of that? Are you just,
all right.
Yeah. Respect
No
him.
one's going to get the celebrity world have not got access.
To what? To the Westminster Hall. Okay, you can't skip the queue if you're a celeb.
No,
Yeah.
you've got to join the general population.
Everyone's equal in that sense, except the monarchs.
Oh, she got it in. She got it in just before I did there, Rivka.
Well, it's theirs, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see, he has no answer to it. He has no response to it because she's just so obviously correct. Well, that was again, it was an interesting look into the mind of a cultist, really, and how the amount of times people are asked to justify things and they couldn't find any reasonable justification other than it has been and it should always will be in future, right? That's the only justification they have. It's just the way things are. That's it. I mean, it's interesting into mind that they genuinely have no justification other than the fact that they've been, brought into the cult at the end of the day. Which, yeah, to be fair, they have done. And also, if you enjoyed this for incredibly riveting content, you can like, comment, and subscribe. If you can become a member on YouTube for 99p or a subscriber on Twitch for $2.99 during September, that way you can be a commendable non-freeloader. I hope you did enjoy the content. If you did, please check out more of our videos. They should be popping up on my screen on the left-hand side, and I'll catch you on the next one.